So I just watched a couple-year-old videos of me recording videos, just how I'm doing right now. It's actually quite amazing to see that the things I was talking about back then are still so relevant to the journey that I'm still on. And the things that I was really speaking about when it came to making daily content are low-key the same struggles that I still struggle with today. But that's not to say that there hasn't been improvements, because there has been extreme improvements and just overall confidence on camera, um, understanding who I am a lot better after different experiences, jobs, ups, downs. It I can see the growth, absolutely. And it's funny because at that time, before I started to make those videos, I thought that I had grown a lot. It just goes to show that, we're always growing in this life, and no matter what stage you're at, what age you are, it's a process of learning constantly. And just to watch those videos, and I went on spurts, streaks, if you could call it that, of making videos consistently for a couple of days, maybe a couple of weeks, on and off. And I specifically spoke about in those videos, just stay doing this every day and it's gonna pay off. Stay doing this every day and it's gonna pay off. You're gonna get better at it. You're gonna get better and you're gonna get better and you're gonna thank yourself later. Well, I definitely did not stick to it every single day or even week or every month, barely every year. But from the little bit that I did stick to it, I can see a difference in my ability to show up here on camera and just have a conversation. It's actually quite fascinating to see, like, whoa, where you started and kind of where you're currently at. It's quite amazing how practice, repetitions, and training truly make you better at anything. And that was one of the things that I was going over in that video was, I've had lots of jobs over the years, all kinds of varying jobs. And almost every job that I've stepped into up until, maybe the last 2 years or so, it was pretty jarring. I was scared. It was new to me. And when you're new, what I used to always say is, you never want to be a big fish in a little pond. Meaning you never want to be the person that knows it all, that has the most experience, that, you're dominating. Unless you're just really in, like, a millionaire or a billionaire, you got that kind of status, and you're teaching people. But what I mean, I'm talking about bar jobs, hotels, restaurants, construction, even sales. But I always had the habit of, okay, I'm getting comfortable here. Let me go try this new job. Let me see how I'm challenged in this type of way. And I go from, like, feeling like a big dog at that previous job to, hey, now you're baby food at this new job. You don't know shit. You gotta humble yourself. You have to put your ego aside if you want to be successful at your doing, or at least have a chance at being successful. And I think from doing that process so many times, it allowed me to get out of my own way, right? Which, is really helpful in all kinds of ways, when it comes to making these videos, when it comes to relationships, just overall perspective of life, um, my ability to create relationships now, network, foresight, there's so many things about it that create a better you. And I think at that time when I recorded that video, I started to really understand the value of being accountable through here. I think YouTube in this format, this one take video, 10 minutes, this is almost like an accountability exercise. It forces you to see yourself. How good are you at articulating your thoughts? How authentic you can come across in your being. So many different factors are at play when it comes to making videos like this. And I truly believe it propels you on a journey of becoming better, more skilled, more aware, more conscious, things like that. And then obviously, over time, as you figure out what you're really good at and what you want to continue to talk about, you can create offers, products and services. And that's another thing I'd like to talk about. So much of the stuff that I would watch online back then, I do things like that on a daily basis. It's become my thought process. It's become a part of who I am. And when I look at the things that I watch now, and sometimes I get discouraged because I'm not at that point, or I don't know how to get there. And I just remind myself, look, bro, the things you were watching back then, you've learned and you're actually embodying, and as you continue to embody them, they'll continue to compound. So you've only been interested in business and marketing and things like that nature for maybe the last, year? Give yourself some time, because you are starting to embody it. Those seeds are sprouting, just like the seeds you planted 5-6 years ago they've been sprouted, but they're actually starting to, really show in your day-to-day life and your interactions with people. Because personally, the way people interact with me in public now, it is a completely different paradigm than who I was 6 years ago. And it all comes from how I carry myself, because of the beliefs I've installed, how I program myself over the years with better and more efficient ways of carrying myself, of being a human being. And I've physically, I've seen it, felt it, and have experienced so much respect from people, admiration from people, curiosity from people. So many positive things that were not happening at my life years ago because of what I was programming my mind with my focus and my attention, what I was paying attention to. I was wasting time. I didn't realize, I didn't put so much importance into what time was. Then you start to realize, we only got a limited time here. This doesn't last forever. You better start learning what's gonna benefit you in the next couple of years. And, I started where I best knew I could. Habits, decisions, discipline, working out, your circle, people you're around, who's influencing you. That's all I knew what to do. But from implementing those things years ago in my life, it's been grown. Not to say it's been a complete perfect and smooth journey, but overall fulfillment, maturity, and how the world reacts to me now is there's so much more power here now. And, you know, that was the first wave. The second wave was more so acting, being more courageous when I started to go into sales and door to door and started taking leaps without understanding what I'm completely doing, but knowing this is for the betterment of me. And, you know, now I'm not as, you know, scared to take a step forward, because, you know, that's what you have to do to go move forward. If you want something that you've never had, you have to do something you've never done. And, you know, it's always scarier than it actually is. It's actually nothing, but because it's kind of unknown to you, you get spooked out and you don't want to do it. It's very normal. Well, started doing that years ago. Now kind of doing that, it's a lot more normal, you know? And then maybe like, I think wave 3, I really started to understand psychology and developing a relationship with God, reading more, writing more in my downtime, spending time outside in nature, going on runs, meditating, really got the mind right to where now I have the patience, I have the calmness, I have the maturity, the ability to learn marketing, online content, business, things like that. And so the past year or so, I mean, I've always seen little bits here and there on YouTube and Instagram and whatever other platform, but this last year has been, whoa, on a level that I've never dived into this stuff before, and I have learned at a crazy rate. So I say all this to say, guys, I know I'm kind of rambling right now, but what you choose to pay attention to, what you choose to focus on, what you choose to program yourself with, make sure it's something you want a part of your life going forward. This is so important to be aware that what you're paying attention to, what you are allowing yourself to experience, to be aware that you will embody those traits, you know? And the better things you seed your garden with, if you want a beautiful garden, you gotta plant beautiful plants. You gotta water them. You gotta take care of the soil. Then you get that beautiful garden. But if you don't ever plant good stuff into your garden, you fill it with landfills and, you know, garbage, that garden will never grow. And in fact, it just will look like shit. So, short video, just kind of reminiscing, looking back at those old videos and, you know, respecting, honoring, and being gracious for the work that has happened, and looking forward to, you know, now that I'm doing this thing on YouTube and it feels so much more natural to who I am. It's a lot easier, and I'm really getting focused on the power of it and what to add to it now. We're gonna see where this thing goes.